3.
Hello, this is Jeffrey Faulkner again, talking about the geography of the Book of Mormon, what I think is the geography. Now again, the disclaimer, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints takes no official position on where the accounts of the Book of Mormon took place. The Lord has not revealed it to us in so many words. But I've made a diligent study for many years, and with the help of the works of John L. Sorensen and other scholars in the church, I have found over the years that I started seeing where these accounts, these events in the Book of Mormon took place. And it began to solidify in my mind, and I got more and more excited over the years. It's been about 40 years all told. And so I would like to give some of my ideas about where things happened. And today I'd like to make a presentation on the demise of the Nephite nation. Now here's the satellite map of the region of Mesoamerica. Highland Guatemala is the land of Nephi. The nearest strip of wilderness, the Motagua Fault Zone. The land of Zarahemla is the Grijalva River Basin. The narrow neck of land, the land northward. The narrow neck of land, by the way, is divided into the land desolation and the land bountiful. Now, historically, the Nephites occupied the land of Nephi, but they were driven out and they fled down into the fabled land of Zarahemla, this fabulous fertile valley of the Grijalva River, or the River Sidon in the Book of Mormon. This became the Nephite core area, or their promised land. But they occupied the land bountiful right here as a barrier to keep the Lamanites in the land southward. Now let's go to my own drawing. Land of Nephi, land of Zarahemla, and land bountiful is here, occupied as a barrier to hem in the Lamanites into the land southward. The east wilderness, east of the land Zarahemla, and remember it's northward, southward, because in the Mesoamerican compasses or direction systems, east is where the sun rises. Everything, if you are the sun rising, on your right will be north. So the land northward is up here, including North America, United States and Canada. Okay, now, in the beginning of the Book of Mormon, in the Book of Mormon, the little book, Mormon's book, he tells how he was born up here in the land Antum, in the land northward. When he was 11 years old, his father carried him down into the land southward. He was born in 310 A.D. His father carried him down into the land southward, into the land of Zarahemla. So when he was about 16 years old, in 327 A.D., a conflict broke out between the Nephites and the Lamanites in this land of Zarahemla. Now, if you'll remember, up through Helaman chapter 6, the Lamanites were down here and in the east wilderness, and the wilderness is roundabout wildernesses encompassing the land of Zarahemla. Lamanites were in the land of Nephi and the wildernesses, and the Nephites occupied the land of Zarahemla, and they occupied the land bountiful as a barrier, as I said. But after Helaman chapter 6, the Lamanites start pouring down in here, and there's a merging of the two people. They're mingling and living side by side through 3rd Nephi, and then the Golden Age, 4th Nephi. And up till the beginning of the 4th century, they're living side by side. But around 327 A.D., when Mormon is 16 years old, an internal conflict in the land of Zarahemla breaks out, an ethnic conflict between the Nephites and the Lamanites, who are both occupying this land of Zarahemla. Remember, it's an ethnic conflict within an internal conflict that starts this war of extermination. Now, at this time there is apparently a gradient of population where if you go upriver, you have more Lamanites and fewer Nephites. You go downriver, you have more Nephites and fewer Lamanites. Kind of a gradient in the Nephite-Lamanite ratio. So the internal war broke out around the land of the city of Zarahemla, and these Lamanites in this area probably called on their brethren from up in the land Nephi and over in the east wilderness, and they probably came around to help their brethren in this conflict. They came around through the land of Manti to the west. They came around from the east wilderness, down through the valley of Gideon, into the upriver parts of the valley here. They came around over through the land of Antionum and Jershon, into the northern part of the land of Zarahemla, and they started driving the Nephites this way. So we see that the Nephites flee northward and then westward, and they go over toward the seashore, the city of David and Angola, and they flee here. They just graze the wilderness of Hermounts, which, by the way, today the Mexican government has set aside as a wilderness preserve, the same wilderness that's in the Book of Mormon called the wilderness of Hermounts. The Nephites are driven near the wilderness of Hermounts. They lose the land of Bountiful in Mormon chapter 2, and they cede the whole land southward to the Lamanites. But they try to hold on to the land of Desolation, and they fight battles, and they retreat. They fight again, they retreat, they make a stand, they lose a battle, and they retreat, and they keep going all the way across the land of Desolation, which means across the narrow strip of wilderness, and up to when they get near the land of Jashan, Mormon goes to the hill Shem and recovers the plates that Amaron left there. The hill Shem is somewhere up in here. Then they go to the city Desolation, and they fight several very bloody battles in the city Desolation. Finally, they give that up. They go through the city Teancum and Shem, finally end up in the land of Cumorah, at the hill Cumorah, which is the Cerro of Bahia in the state of Veracruz, Mexico, in the Tuxtla Mountain region, where they're wiped out. So the important points to remember here is it starts as an internal civil conflict in the land of Zarahemla, an ethnic conflict between the whites and the darks, or between the Nephites and the Lamanites. But the Lamanites have a lot more people to call upon. They outnumber the Nephites even in the land of Zarahemla from the time of Helaman 6. They're the preponderant demographic. They drive them to the west, to the coast, and you read all about that in the Book of Mormon, and this is where the Nephites are wiped out. This is Cumorah. This is the original Cumorah. Mormon gives his son Moroni the abridgment, which he carries up through Mexico, the Mexican desert, past the Valley of Mexico. By the way, that's another point. In the Valley of Mexico, you have the great city of Teotihuacan, which in the Book of Mormon is Jacobugath. This is the Gadianton robbers' headquarters. They are the ones that instigated this uprising against the Nephites. Teotihuacan made an alliance with the city-states in the lowland Maya region, and inspired the Lamanites all throughout the land southward to rise up against the Nephites and drive them out, because these people here, the Teotihuacanos, wanted to establish trade between the Nahua region and the Maya region. And these ugly people with a strange religion, these white people, were in the way, so they had to be removed. And that's the end of the Book of Mormon. Important points to remember. Thank you.